Turkey's defense industry was once a fledgling sector with only a few dozen companies. Now it boasts well over 1,000 firms. In less than 2 decades, Turkey has transformed itself from a massive arms importer to a major innovator and global exporter. That major leap was reflected in 7 Turkish companies making the world's top 100 global defense list. So, what types of military hardware is the country developing? Haydar Abbasi explains.
Showing off the next generation in weapon systems. This armored vehicle can carry out anti-tank and surveillance missions and can operate on land and in water. It's made by Turkish manufacturer FNSS. The company has made it into the world's top 100 defense firms, as ranked by the magazine Defense News. FNSS is one of 7 Turkish suppliers on the list. We asked its CEO how Turkish defense firms have grown so rapidly.
It is a result of a very good strategy established by the state 35-40 years ago, following the embargo imposed on Turkey after Cyprus event. I think we have decided to grow defense industries. So that resulted in establishment of SSM, then now it is SSB, with correct strategies supported by all the stakeholders in the country, and of course with the synergy between the state and the private sector. I think we come a long way, and we have achieved this significant result.
In 2002, there were only 56 defense and aerospace companies in Turkey. Today, there are more than 1,500. In that time, industry revenue rose from $1 billion to nearly $11 billion. This growth means Turkey is now emerging as a major exporter of arms and has seen demand rise from countries like Pakistan and Malaysia. Foreign customers say they're attracted to Turkey's high technological standards and competitive pricing. For decades, Turkey's been importing most of its military hardware, but that's all changing. The government says its reliance on foreign defense systems is now only 30%. And President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says he wants to end this dependency completely by 2023, the centennial of the Turkish Republic. Turkey's military is the second largest in the NATO defense alliance, with more than 350,000 active personnel. Right now, it's operating in several countries, including Syria and Iraq, and with such an extensive reach, the government believes it's essential to have a self-reliant defense industry. Ultimately, Ankara's aim is to be a leader in the field, competing with major players like the United States and Germany. And if the progress of the last 2 decades is anything to go by, it seems the sky's the limit. Haydar Abbasi, Straight Talk, Istanbul.
And joining me now is Can Kasaboğlu, who is the director of the Defense and Security Program at the Istanbul-based think tank EDAM, and from Stockholm, Peter Wiseman, who is a senior researcher with the SIPRI Arms and Military Expenditure Program. So, gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Can, what was the main driving force behind Turkey's push to develop its defense industry?
Well, I can rank 3 main drivers. One is the strategic trauma following the 1974 military intervention to Cyprus, because Turkey faced enormous arms embargoes, including those from its NATO allies. So the idea of developing an indigenous arms industry was really important, and since then it still holds this utmost importance in the eyes of the Turkish elite. The second thing is making a strategic sector, especially as to arms. Back in 2002, it was only $250 million Turkish defense exports. Now the threshold is $3 billion. It is fast becoming a strategic sector. And last, an indigenous arms sector gives Turkish political decision makers room to maneuver, especially in cross-border operations, as we have seen in northern Syria, This marge de maneuver is giving space for Turkish governments to use its military toolbox more frequently in addressing regional security threats.
So in 2002, Peter, there were only 56 defense companies in Turkey. Today, there are more than 1,500. So where do you think Turkey stands when it comes to other major arms exporters like the United States and Germany?
Well, I think that Turkey has rapidly developed into a country that can do a lot more than it could in the past. It can do a lot more than just producing ammunition, rockets, missiles, and maybe a few basic armored vehicles. It is now in a phase where it can produce increasingly sophisticated items such as small, light UAVs, items such as more sophisticated armored vehicles, even tanks are now being designed in Turkey itself, although, and this is very important, continuously still with a lot of foreign input. So where is Turkey now compared to, let's say, Germany or France or the UK? Well, it is by far not that far. Turkey doesn't have the industrial capacity, and also, you could argue, not yet the military spending levels that you need to get to the point that you can build an arms industry as sophisticated and comprehensive as you can see in the major European countries, let alone, of course, compared to Russia, China, and the USA.
Yeah. So, John, how dependent is Turkey on foreign manufacturers, and how long it is before Turkey will have a self-reliant defense industry? What are the challenges? What are the setbacks before the Turkish industry?
That's a great question, because this is widely speculated in Turkey, especially as to domestic politics. On one side, we see some claiming that Turkish defense industry is completely getting independent, which is not possible. Even the big hats in the sector is not completely independent, and it is not needed. The sustainability of international collaboration is needed, and Turkey, as to many systems and subsystems, is running a sustainable international collaboration. We see that in the burgeoning defense relations between Turkey and Ukraine. We have long seen that in Turkish-South Korean defense relations, and once in the 1990s, Turkish-Israeli defense relations. Yet there is a second segment, which is the strategic weapon systems, especially looming large in the Turkish case with long-range, high-altitude air and missile defense, or the fifth generation aircraft projects like TFX National Combat Aircraft, or the S-400 case, or the Turkish Eurosam cooperation for a long-range, high-altitude air and missile defense system. But as to this high-end weaponry, we still in Turkey have a need for international collaboration. I think that would be the biggest challenge for Turkish defense industry in the coming decades, to address strategic dependence on foreign collaborators as to strategic weapon systems.
So, Peter, to which extent Turkey needs foreign cooperation, and how Turkey's foreign relations affect its potential? How has the purchase of S-400s from Russia impacted Turkey's defense industry, because it was excluded from the F-35 program?
I think it's extremely important for a country like Turkey, and for basically all countries in the world, except for maybe then the USA, Russia, and potentially China in the future, to have very strong relation with other states, to be able to together, or with the input of the largest state, continuing to be able to both develop and produce the kind of high-tech systems that one wants to have. I mean, a clear example is, again, Turkey wants to build a tank. It has good relations with Germany. Those relations then sour, and suddenly Turkey cannot build that tank anymore because it does not have access to the engine it needs to do so. That's a very clear example of the extreme dependence of countries like Turkey on foreign technology and foreign know-how.
So Turkey, we all know that, lives in a dangerous neighborhood, John. How has regional instability impacted the development of Turkey's arm industry?
Actually, I think the hybrid threats emanating from Turkish Middle Eastern doorstep sparked the motivation among the Turkish political military elite to develop such arms. We have seen since Operation Euphrates Shield back in 2016 up until today, in the 4 large episodes of Turkey's expeditionary campaigns in Syria, the involvement of Turkish national arms grew and grew. Actually, that was something that also sparked Turkish arms exports, because this problematic threat landscape at Turkey's Middle Eastern doorstep enabled Turkish arms industry to produce combat-proven weaponry. A combat-proven characteristic is really important. It is a reference, it is a major reference in selling arms, and it also, I think, helped Turkish defense firms to market their solutions and their products because they were used in one of the most dangerous battlefields of the world. Second, the Turkish arms really scored sensational achievements, like the hunt for Panzers, for instance, state-of-the-art Russian mobile low to mid-altitude air defense system. Turkish drones hunted Panzers not only in Syria, but also in Libya. And that resonates really sensationally with international strategic community, which translates into both arms export success and better feedbacks from the end user, in which case the Turkish armed forces. I think as Turkey's neighborhood keeps its problematic character and getting even worse, I think Turkish arms industry will follow suit and produce more combat-proven systems, more smart solutions.
Yes.
And I think the importer countries like Azerbaijan will keep this combat-proven characteristics through other conflicts.
All right. It's not just Turkey, Peter. The global arms industry is exploding, especially between the United States and China. Are we entering a new global arms race?
As a researcher, I'm always very careful with the term arms race, but yeah, I'm afraid we may have to use the term just only to raise the alert, to say that yes, there are a number of regions where we can see that countries are increasing their military spending and increasing their arms procurement vis-a-vis each other, whether that's in the Middle East, whether that's in the Gulf region, whether that's in Southeast Asia, in the South China Sea, but of course also whether that is between the 2 major powers in the world, China and the US. We do see a worrying trend in which the availability of military resources, military spending has become an increasingly important aspect of foreign and security policy in the world.
So, John, which markets does the Turkish defense industry have an eye on, and what it offers to other countries?
Well, so far, especially in Turkish unmanned systems exports, we have seen good achievements in lucrative markets. Turkey entered the Gulf market through Qatar. The Ukrainian market was really important because Ukraine's defense and technological industrial base is a post-Soviet one and a developing one. So entering Ukrainian market with Turkish drones was really important. I think from now on, Turkey eyes the Asian markets. We know that the Indonesians show attention in Turkey's submarine modernization plans. Pakistan is a natural market for Turkey. Malaysia as well is a natural market for Turkey. So Asia will be really important. And recently Turkey also, especially after the recent clashes between Azerbaijan and Armenian formations, Turkey entered Azerbaijan's drone market. It was also a promising achievement because Azerbaijani unmanned military systems market is dominated by Israel, which is one of the big hats in the industry. But from now on, especially as the Turkish administration put the threshold of $3 billion of defense exports, I see Asia becoming the new rising star for the Turkish arms exports.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk. Appreciate it a lot.